Nepal brought back its stranded nationals from Hubei province in China earlier this morning. Unfortunately, 6 couldn't make it to the Kathmandu flight due to reported ill health, while another 4 willingly stayed back in China. Good morning, I am Bipashna Tamang and these are the headlines of the hour. The confined Nepali nationals in the different parts of Hubei province returned home. 175 Nepali taken directly to the capital's Kantipur to be quarantined. Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli paints a rosy picture of his government's 2 years in office. Claims the MCC agreement will be endorsed without any fuss. A number of bills kept in limbo in the name of political consensus as the concerned committee is indecisive on controversial issues. And Liverpool stretches unbeaten run in the ongoing English Premier League season to 26 matches with a 1-0 win over Norwich, widen gap at the top of the league. The government of Nepal has brought 175 Nepali nationals from Hubei province in China, the epicenter of corona outbreak. According to the Nepalese embassy in Beijing, 185 Nepalese were listed to return to Nepal. However, 6 of them couldn't board the flight due to complications seen in their health, while another 4 willingly stayed back in China. Among the rescued 175 Nepali nationals, 170 are students, 2 are children, 2 Nepali tourists in China, 1 migrant worker with 134 males and 41 females. As per the Nepalese embassy in Beijing, 55 were rescued from Wuhan, 48 from Qinghai, 29 from Xi'an, 26 from Yan's, 9 from Qingmen and 8 from Yichang. The rescued Nepali nationals landed in the capital's Tribhuvan International Airport this morning at 3:30 a.m. They were taken directly to Kantipur from the airport. The rescued individuals will be kept in quarantine for at least 14 days and will not be allowed to meet with their relatives. The government yesterday had flown a 276-seater wide-body aircraft with a 16-member team, including crew members and health officials, to bring the stranded Nepali nationals. Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli has claimed that the government has gained significant achievement during his 2 years in office. During his address at the House of Representatives yesterday, the Premier stated that the controversial MCC agreement will be endorsed from the Parliament. We have a report.
Marking the 2-year term of the government, Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli, while addressing the House of Representatives on Saturday, reiterated that the government has achieved good governance, development goals, and succeeded in terms of upgrading the public lifestyle. He reaffirmed that the nation has already taken its strides towards economic prosperity and the result will be seen sooner than later.
सरकारले सुरु गरेका कामहरू अहिले नै फलिसके भन्ने होइन। बिरुवा रोप्ने काम भएको छ। कतै उम्रिदैछन्, कतै टोसाउँदैछन्, कतै बिरुवा हुर्कदै पनि छन्। सबै एकैचोटि त हुँदैन। रोम एकै दिनमा बनेको थिएन। सुरुङ एकै दिनमा बन्दैन। रेल एकै दिनमा कुद्दैन। अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय विमानस्थल एकै दिनमा बन्दैन। पानी जहाज एकै दिनमा कुद्ने अवस्था भइहाल्दैन।
Prime Minister Oli said that the government running for 2 years is an achievement in itself at a time when most of the governments in the country lasted for merely 6 to 7 months. Prime Minister Oli during his address said that the people under poverty line have been reduced to 16.8% from 42% 29 years ago. Prime Minister Oli didn't mince any words while saying that the economic development of the country was on a positive track. Prime Minister Oli, meanwhile, has raised the question of the credibility of the task team formed to study the multi-billion-dollar American Assistance Millennium Challenge Corporation. The Premier argued that the conclusion drawn by the task team, which he billed as political, will have no bearing on the government decision. Prime Minister reiterated that the Parliament will endorse the MCC agreement once the Speaker put it for decision, as the government has already tabled it in the House.
MCC बारे विवाद होला, अलिअलि बुझ्न बाँकी होला, राजनीतिक दलहरूको विषय होला, राजनीतिक दलहरूले अध्ययन गर्लान् त्यो आफ्नो ठाउँमा छ तर सरकारले अनुमोदनका लागि संसदमा पेश गरेको छ सभामुख महोदयले निर्णयार्थ प्रस्तुत गर्ने बित्तिकै पास हुन्छ अगाडि बढ्छ
The ruling Nepal Communist Party had formed a 3-member task team led by senior leader Jhalanath Khanal to study the case of the MCC agreement and submit a detailed report to the party. Prime Minister Oli, while addressing the issues raised by the lawmakers of different parties, said that the government was taking diplomatic initiatives to retrieve the encroached lands of Kalapani, Lipulek and Limpiathura, among others, by India, while saying that issuing a new political map was not a big deal.
The government will probe the case of transferring the land ownership of the 174 Ropani land owned by Nepal Trust at the capitals Matatirtha and Thankot. Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli said that the government would probe into the case and would transfer all lands to Nepal Trust's custody. The Prime Minister has assured that the government would take actions against any guilty parties involved in the case.
जमिन हिनामिना गर्न नपाइने कसैलाई दिन नपाइने कसैको नाममा बेच्न वा नामसारी गर्न नपाइने कानुनी व्यवस्था छ त्यो व्यवस्था हुँदाहुँदै ट्रस्टको जमिन नकली मोही खडा गरेर 174 रोपनी जमिन व्यक्तिका नाउँमा यो दर्ता खारिज गरेर व्यक्तिका नाममा गरिदिनु भन्ने आदेश बाट व्यक्तिका नाममा गरिएको पाइएको छ जसको छानबिन हुन्छ र त्यो जमिन फिर्ता ल्याइन्छ छानबिन हुन्छ मात्र हैन त्यो जमिन सरकारले फिर्ता ल्याउँछ
The government led by Baburam Bhattarai had decided to transfer their land ownership of 174 Ropani land owned by Nepal Trust to the name of several individuals. The Land Revenue Office, based on the decision of the government, transferred the land ownership in the name of private individuals. Prime Minister reiterated that the government has already begun the initiatives at Lalita Niwas to retrieve the government and public lands. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Oli defended the government's decision to lease the land owned by Nepal Trust to Yeti Group through the amendment of Act, claiming that the government's decision was legal and termed the protest against the decision as irrelevant. And time now for a short break. For more news, just stay with us. Welcome back. The parliamentary committees are responsible to reach a consensus on a specific bill after having discussion among the committee members. However, instead of finalizing, the bills are kept in limbo in the name of political consensus, as the concerned committees are indecisive on controversial issues. The bill on citizenship could not be endorsed from the State Affairs and Good Governance Committee despite having a series of discussion within the committee members. The bill, which was supposed to be endorsed from the 4th session of House, is still in limbo as the bill contains dubious clauses in citizenship by descent and naturalized citizenship, among others. The committee members are awaiting the political leaderships to make final decision on the disputed provisions of the bill. Remarkably, Executive Chairman of the ruling Nepal Communist Party, Pushpa Kamal Dahal, is the member of the committee. Likewise, several other bills, including Civil Service Bill and projects under National Pride Bill, although having top leaderships like Jhalanath Khanal and Sher Bahadur Deuba, have failed to take initiatives in settling the controversial provisions and decide the fate of the bills. The top leaders instead failed to appear in the committee meetings. The committees under the parliament are accountable in settling all differences and finalizing the bills after holding clause-wise discussions. And in our Public Voice segment, we had asked the local residents in Dadildhura, Kanchanpur, Thading, Bara and Chapa, how do they evaluate the performance of federal government during the 2 years? Let's take a look at what they had to say.
Public Voice.
सरकार जुन छ नि यो कार्यकर्ता पाल्ने किसिमको कार्यक्रम ल्याएर आफ्नो कार्यकर्तालाई कसरी बढावा दिने त्यस्तै खालको मात्रै विकास गरे हो।
यो सरकार अझै त्यो विकास निर्माणतिर लाग्नुको सट्टा
जनतालाई सुख समृद्धि दिनको सट्टा चाहिँ ठुल्ठुला भ्रष्टाचार काण्डमा मुसिएका आफ्ना कार्यकर्ता नेताहरूलाई चाहिँ डाकछोप गर्नेदेखि लिएर विदेशी अनुदानहरू लिएर चाहिँ देश विकास सञ्चालन गर्नेदेखि लिएर अनेक खालका उद्योग चाहिँ गतिविधिहरू गरिरहेको छ।
जता हेरे पनि हामीले खाल्टा मात्रै देखिराखेका छौँ। न्यायका कुराहरू गर्छन्, त्यही न्यायमा चाहिँ खाडल परेको देखिराखिएको छ।
भारतबाट नेपालमा विषादीयुक्त जुन प्रकारको तरकारीहरू अनियन्त्रित रूपमा भित्रिन्थ्यो, तर त्यसलाई पनि उसले रोक्न सकेन। 1-2 दिन रोक्यो, तर भारतको दबावमा त्यसलाई पनि उसले नियन्त्रण दिन सकेन। त्यो कुनै उपलब्धि नै होइन। एक अब अर्को कुरो, पियाधुरा लिपुलेख लगायत राष्ट्रियताको बारेमा उसले भारत सरकारसँग कुनै कुरै गर्न सकेन।
गाउँतिर कुनै विकासै भएको छैन। हाम्रो काल मात्र हेर्ने हो, विकास हुन्छ, न रोड भएको छ, न खानेपानी भएको छ।
प्रचार प्रसारमा जति समय दिएको छ त्योभन्दा काम चाहिँ एकदम कम भएको देखिन्छ।
And we have more news coming up, but right now it's time for yet another short break. And time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
And here's the question. What is the reason behind the dismal government performance? Your options are option A, lack of political commitment, option B, slack bureaucracy, and option C, due to vested interest groups. The voting for the question is on. Type NEWS, select your options A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. And time now for the sports update.
Sports news.
Machindra Club created history in Nepalese football by lifting their maiden Martyrs Memorial A Division League football title. In the last and decisive match of the league played at the capital's Dashrath Stadium, Machindra scripted a narrow 1-0 win over Tribhuvan Army Club. In a tightly competed match, the Lady Luck favoured Machindra as they scored by virtue of an own goal conceded by the Army men. The own goal blunder was made by Bikash Tamang in the 33rd minute of the match as Tamang, while trying clear a free kick taken by Rajin Dhimal, slotted the ball into the post. Army's custodian Bikesh Kuthu also got injured while trying to save their own goal. Kuthu was rushed to the hospital after the incident. Machindra held on to their 1-goal advantage till the end of the match to lift the coveted A Division League title, as the Army men were guilty of missing out on a few opportunities they created. Prior to the match began, just a single point separated the two teams, as both the sides needed a clear win to win their maiden title. Machindra had formed a star-studded lineup contracting players from 3-star and Manang Marshangdi. Winners Machindra bagged 5 million rupees along with a trophy, while the first runner-up Army settled for 3.5 million rupees. And time now for our special segment, Around the World.
The World Health Organization announced of the official name for the disease caused by the new coronavirus as COVID-19 this week. The announcement came after the death toll from the virus passed 1100. The virus itself has been designated SARS-CoV-2 by the International Committee on Taxonomy of Viruses. On Friday, Beijing ordered everyone returning to the city to go into quarantine for 14 days or risk punishment in the latest attempt to contain the deadly new coronavirus. The measure came as Egypt confirmed the first coronavirus case in Africa. More than 20 million people live in Beijing. In China alone, more than 63,000 people have been infected with the virus. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal secured another term in office after his party won a resounding victory in elections in the capital. Voters overwhelmingly backed the Aam Aadmi Party in an election which pitted them against India's governing Bharatiya Janata Party, BJP. It is a setback for the BJP after last year's general election landslide victory. The party won 5 more seats in Delhi but still holds just 8 out of 70. The Aam Aadmi Party won all the rest. The BJP's campaign saw heavyweights such as Home Minister Amit Shah take to the Delhi streets to woo voters, but that appears to have had little impact on the outcome. In US, Bernie Sanders won the New Hampshire Democratic primary contest on a terrible night for former Vice President Joe Biden. The left-wing senator took a tight victory over centrist former mayor Pete Buttigieg, who offered a different democratic vision in the race to take on President Trump in November. Sanders declared the night the beginning of the end of Trump.
I want to thank all of those people who have worked and contributed to our campaign, but make the point that in this point in the campaign, we are taking on billionaires and we're taking on candidates funded by billionaires.
Success in New Hampshire, like Iowa, offers momentum for the race ahead. Finishing behind Vermont Senator Sanders were two moderates, Buttigieg and Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar. These two leaders emerged as a surprise contender by taking third place. Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren and Biden, two erstwhile frontrunners, finished in 4th and 5th places. The result will give Sanders 9 of the 24 delegates who will represent New Hampshire at the July Democratic National Convention, where the party crowns a nominee based on the delegates won. This is Sarah Sapsanama for Around the World and Kantipur News Desk.
And before wrapping up, here's a look at the top stories one more time. The confined Nepali nationals in the different parts of Hubei province return home. 175 Nepalese taken directly to the capital's Kharipati to be quarantined. Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli hails the government's 2 years in office as successful. Claims the MCC agreement will be endorsed without any fuss. A number of bills kept in limbo in the name of political consensus as the concerned committee is indecisive on controversial issues. And Liverpool stretches unbeaten run in the ongoing English Premier League season to 26 matches with a 1-0 win over Norwich. Widen gap at the top of the league. And that's all for the moment. Our next English bulletin will air at 11 a.m. Stay with us for more news and entertainment on KTV HD. Have a great day ahead.